Rahmanir Rahim. Please recite after me. As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Rasulullah. As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Habiballah. As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Nabiyallah. Wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Nur Allah. Nawaitu sunnat al-i'tikaf. Amongst the many benefits of reciting Durood and Salam upon Allah's most beloved creation, Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, there's one such narration where the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentions that there's an angel appointed to my grave, and this angel has been granted the ability to hear the voice of every single creation. And when somebody sends Durood and Salam upon the Prophet ﷺ, this angel, he conveys that individual salam to the Prophet ﷺ. He takes his name and his father's name and he says, O Prophet of Allah ﷺ, such and such person, who is son of such and such person, has presented salam to you. And in another hadith it states that on the day of Friday, this honor is no doubt an honor for the angel. It's an honor for the angel to be able to convey the salam. On Friday it's stated that when an ummati, when a follower of the Prophet ﷺ conveys his salam, the Prophet ﷺ hears that salam with his own blessed ears. And again, in the same way, he's aware who has presented that salam, who he is son of, and in this way they accept that salam in their court with their own blessed ears. And this is why Sayyidi Allah Hazrat, he says, Hum yahan se pukare, wo wahan pe sune, Sarkar ki samaat pe lakho salam. And in another shade, Dur o nazdeek ke sunne wale wo kaan lale karamat pe lakho salam. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ala Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. In the time of the second Khalifa, Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, there was a young man who was very famous in that he would worship Allah a lot in his youth. And this man, he passed away during his youth as well. And the time he passed away it was late in the night. And when he passed away, his father arranged very quickly the arrangements for ghusl, the kafan, and thereafter the janazah. He arranged very quickly to go and bury him. And in the morning, this news, it came to Amir al-Mu'mineen, Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, that this young boy had passed away, this young individual that was, known to worship Allah through his youth. And Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, immediately he went to this young individual's father's house to offer his condolences. And when he got to his father's house, he did ta'ziyat, he offered his condolences, and he asked the man, why didn't you inform me? Why didn't you tell me? No doubt I would have wished to participate in the ghusl, in the kafan, and in the burial. And this man, he explains, O Amir al-Mu'mineen, it was the late part of the night. We didn't wish to disturb you. And for this reason, we arranged everything ourselves. Then Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he asked to be taken to this man's grave. He asked to be taken where this man was buried, this young boy. And when Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when he arrived at the grave, he called out this individual's name. He said, oh, so and so. And then he recited this ayat from the Quran. This ayat in Surah Ar-Rahman. Sayyidina Umar recited, وَلِمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ جَنَّتًا. And the translation taken from Sayyidi Al-Hazrat Kanzul Iman, it states, for the one who fears to stand before his Lord, Allah has saved for him 2 paradises. The one who stands in fear before his Lord, Allah will grant him 2 gardens. And at that moment, this young boy from the grave, he called out, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, indeed Allah has bestowed upon me these 2 paradises. He called out twice from the grave, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, indeed Allah has bestowed upon me these 2 paradises. But we learn from this, indeed Allah loves them individuals that worship in their youth, that practice in their youth. Them young people that practice, they obey Allah's commands. They have a special place in Allah's court. And as we see from this waqiyah, this young man, he was bestowed with 2 paradises for worshipping in his youth. And a famous Muslim historian, Ibn Khaldun, he writes that the secret of the progress of a nation is hidden in the continuous efforts and sacrifices of the youth. If young blood is available to a nation, that nation reaches the peak of prosperity, and if a nation does not receive a contingent of fresh youths, it begins to regress. I mean, the young individuals in every community, they have a huge part to play in continuing that message, in taking Islam to the next generation. This is a role where the time and the dedication of the youth is key. And alhamdulillah, it's nice to see so many youngsters here in Sheffield today. In the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned that for Islam, a young and strong believer is better than an old and weak believer. Yani what a young individual can give to Islam is greater than what an old and weak individual can give. And in another hadith, in fact, when the Muslims would be getting ready for battle, in them times, such was the jazba, such was the passion of the youngsters at that time, when the lines were being drawn for war, what you read in the seerah, the youngsters, they would be on their tiptoes, they would be taking their chests out to show the Prophet ﷺ that they are capable, they are taller than they actually are, they are bigger than they actually are. They were trying to show the Prophet ﷺ that they are ready to go to battle for Islam. And in this way, they would really try to urge the Prophet ﷺ to include them. And if they weren't included, they would be very disappointed. They would plead with the Prophet ﷺ. Such was their jazbah. In another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ says that a young man performing worship in his youth is superior than an old man worshipping in his old age. And that worship of a youngster in his young days is greater than an old man worshipping. Again, like we mentioned earlier, this has a special place in the court of Allah Azza wa Jal. A young man who gives up the pleasure and luxury of this dunya, in the hadith is stated that a young man who gives up the luxuries and the pleasures of this dunya, he holds a very special place in Allah's court, to the extent where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says in a proud manner in front of His angels, "This is my true bondsman, this is my true servant, the one who worships in youth." Allah mentions to His angels, "This is my true servant." And the Shahzada of Sayyidi Ala Hazrat, the son of Sayyidi Ala Hazrat, Huzur Mufti Azam Hind, he says in a shair, "Riyazat ke yahi din hai, burape mein kahan himmat, jo kuch karna hai ab kar lo, nuri jawan, nuri abhi jawan tum ho." What Shahzada Ala Hazrat is saying is that, if you want to achieve something, these are your days. You have time, you have energy, you have intellect, you have passion, you have drive. These are your days. This is your time. Burape mein kahan himmat. How are you going to achieve anything when old age comes upon you? And the scholars say that, today we're engrossed in chasing dunya, chasing the world. The dunya, the wealth of this world is like the dirt on your hands. It comes and it goes very quickly. But health, when you have health, you can achieve something. But if your health goes, then it's very difficult for you to do anything. Whilst you have health, you have wealth. That is your real wealth. You have the ability to try and achieve something. And this is what Huzur Mufti Azam Hind is telling us in this shair. If you want to achieve something, Abhi Nuri Tum Jawaho. Now's your time. Now's your time to dedicate yourself to a cause and to try and achieve something. But Islam brothers, is very important for us to try and live a life of good deeds and to refrain from sin. In no way should you try and look at a sin in a small way. Don't ever think that any sin is small. And in the same way, don't ever think that a good deed is big. Don't ever think that your good actions are huge. Think of them as small and think of your sins as big. Because in a narration it states that just committing one sin, the individual that commits one sin, 10 evil effects come across from that one sin. And I'm going to list these 10 things to you. Over one sin, 10 bad actions come over that person. 10 bad effects come over that person. Firstly, a person displeases Allah Azza wa Jal by committing sins. You displease Allah Azza wa Jal. Secondly, the one who commits sins, he makes shaitan happy. You make Allah Azza wa Jal unhappy and you make the shaitan happy. This person, when he commits a sin, he distances himself from paradise. He's taking himself away from paradise. And he's getting closer to the hellfire. He harms his own life. The most precious thing to him is harming his own life. He corrupts his batin. You know, your pure inner. You have a pure inner. But when you commit sins, you are corrupting that. You are putting filth on your heart. You are making your heart black. He causes hurt to Kiram and Katibin, the angels who record his good and bad deeds. When one sins, he causes harm to them. And if you are causing harm to them that are recording your good and bad deeds, what's going to be our state? Such an individual that commits sins, he saddens the Prophet ﷺ. This is very deep, my dear students. He saddens the Prophet ﷺ. You know, when it comes to the last month, we had the month of Milad Sharif, the decorations are still on, alhamdulillah. The lovers of the Messenger of Allah ﷺ, what do? We rejoice with an intention to make the Prophet ﷺ happy. You know, in the same way, think that when you sin, you are saddening the Prophet ﷺ. You are making him unhappy. You are making him sad. And when an individual sins, he makes all the creatures from the earth and the heavens a witness in his disobedience towards Allah. You are making all the creation a witness that you are disobeying Allah. And finally, he breaches the trust of Allah and the humans. When one sins, he breaches the trust of the humans and more importantly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So try to think about some of these effects, my dear students. You know, try to take a few of them in. It may be hard to remember all 10. But just think, you know, that person who sins, he's causing harm to the Prophet ﷺ. He's making the Prophet ﷺ sad. You know, these angels that you have on your shoulders, Kiram Katibin, who are recording your good and bad deeds, you are causing harm to them. And most importantly, you are displeasing Allah when committing any sin. When committing any sin, this is what you're doing. So try to think about this. You know, the next time we commit a sin, whether it's small or whether it's big, everybody is at their own stage, but no doubt there's probably sin in all of us. You know, when you think sin, don't just think fornication or gambling or alcohol. You know, this could be referring to swearing, backbiting, slandering, these sins which unfortunately we're engrossed in all day long. Yet these are the effects. And these effects are what destroy our spirituality. You know, if you ever think that, you know, I read namaz, I read Durood Sharif, but I'm not feeling that spirituality, I'm not feeling that sukoon. You know, I come out of the masjid, but it doesn't really, you know, it doesn't really feel good in my heart. Maybe this is the cause. The cause is that we're engrossed in sin, and these sins are taking away our spirituality. They're taking away that sukoon-e-qalb, that peace of heart. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in another hadith related to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned that on the day of judgment, on the day of reckoning, on the day of answer, each individual, he won't be able to move from his place, the place that he's in, he won't be able to move from there until he has answered 5 questions. And I'm going to go through this hadith with you in detail, what these 5 questions are, and where our state is today in accordance with these 5 questions. Firstly, I'm going to go through them with you. So picture the scene. It's the day of judgment, and you're not allowed to move from your place. Your feet can't move from where you are standing until you have given account for these 5 things. Firstly, in which activities was your life spent? Secondly, in which activities was your youth spent, which is most relevant to today, and we're going to go into detail about that. Thirdly, from where was your wealth earned? Number 4 is, where was your wealth spent? And number 5 is, to what extent did you act upon the knowledge that you had? So we go back to number 1 and we talk about this in detail. In which activities was your life spent? Just think to yourselves, imagine today was that day that you have to answer. Where you are in your life, answer this question today. Which activities is your life being spent in? In what activities are you spending your life? You know, just think about your day. Think about your typical week at work and in your lives. You know, 1/3 of the day goes in sleep. If we don't get 8 hours, we're pretty grumpy. 8 hours, we go to sleep. On average, 8 hours goes to work. That's if you work 9 to 5. Unfortunately, the theme these days is 10-hour shifts, 12-hour shifts, 6 days is the norm now. On average, we say 8 hours. And then you have 8 hours left. In what activities are you spending? You know, I'm going to answer, let's look at number 1 and number 2 together collectively. The first question was, what activities are you spending your life in? And the second one was, in what activities did you spend your youth? Collectively, we look at them together. What do we see today? Brothers, you know, in them, that surplus 8 hours that we have, in there we've cramped in family, children, parents, deen. Alhamdulillah, if anybody is taking out time for deen, that's very good today. It's not something you see often. But within that surplus time, you have all this fitted in. And let's come on to really what we're spending our time in. Within them 8 hours, we have football, we have cricket, we have boxing, we have, you know, anything that we're into, anything that excites us, our hobbies, PlayStation, Xbox. These sort of things is what we're spending our activity, you know, these are the activities that we're spending our life in. We come back from work, we come back from school. You know, there's brothers 30, 35 years old, they've got PlayStations. You know, when a new game comes out, it's the elders that are going to the shops to buy them. And this is what's taking our time. Similarly, you know, sports, how much time we're spending. You know, you go to play a game of football with your friends, it's not only 1 hour. 1 hour before you're preparing, 1 hour after you're coming home and you're showering up, it's 3 hours. And just think about what we said, there's only 8 hours of surplus time in a day. If 3 hours is going for football, where are our priorities? If 2 hours is going on the Xbox, out of 8 hours of surplus time, where are our priorities? You know, what activities is our youth being spent in? You know, the poster of today, a message to the youth. The brothers, when they invited me, they said mainly we want you to focus on, you know, recently in Sheffield there was a car accident. There was some young lads, they took a police chase in a VW Golf. They hit a VW Touareg and 5 individuals lost their lives. Some of them were Muslims. There was a young baby aged 1 year old. This is what our youth are spending their time in. These are the activities that they're spending their time in. You know, West Yorkshire, where I came from, in Bradford, there was a car accident about 2 months ago. Young lads, 4 AM, they took a cop chase, they hit a tree, all 4 of them lost their life, all aged between 20 and 25. All 4 of them died. This is what our youngsters are spending their time in. Fast cars, going out, you know, disobeying their parents, staying out all night, you know, this gang culture. You know, even those, illa mashallah, who are on the deen, there's brothers that you see, you know, will spend all night in anticipation for a boxing match. We'll stay awake all night. And you know when we'll go to sleep? At the time of Fajr. The time of Fajr will come, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, then boxing fights will finish. And we'll go to sleep. But how many of those brothers congregated in them shisha lounges as you read their Fajr Salah? Isn't this a point to worry on? That we can stay awake all night, 7, 8 hours, in anticipation for 36 minutes of a boxing fight, and then we go straight to bed. Because we don't even have the decency, we don't even have the courtesy to read our Salah on that day. And what's our normal state? You know, Fajr Salah these days, it finishes at 8:15. 10 past 8, Fajr time finishes. We go to work at 7:30 in the morning. Do we read our Salah? Do we read our Fajr Salah? Or do we just get up and go to work? You know, what tarbiyat are we giving to our children? They wake up at 7:30 to go to school. Do we advise them to read Salah before they go to school? And let's come back to the hadith. What activities are our youth what activities are we spending our youth in? Ask yourselves, what are you doing with your lives? You know, we've ascertained that we only have 8 hours of surplus time in a day. In them 8 hours, surely we can't dedicate so much time to these actions because they're not going to give us, there's no investment in them. They're not going to give anything back to us. You know, think of it like a businessman. I'm investing my time in something, what do I get back? What do I get back from playing on the Xbox or the PlayStation for hours on end? What do I get back from going out, spending time with my friends all night? All night I come back, what have I achieved? What have I gained? Recently, you know, it was the month of November, there was a fireworks craze going on, and the brother said that this was rife in Sheffield. Brothers were even posting fireworks through letterboxes. My dear brothers, we need to wake up. You're taking a firework, you're posting it through someone's letterbox. What if there's kids there? What if there's women there? What are you achieving from doing this? Not only are you doing something useless yourself, you're posting a firework to a letterbox, you're causing harm to others. First, what have the ulama said about fireworks? Spending your money on them, using fireworks, is it haram? And on top of that, you're going and causing harm to others by posting them through the letterboxes. These are the activities we find our youth in. They get so excited when it comes to bonfire night and purchasing fireworks. But these brothers, we're going astray. We're going astray. But talks like these are aimed at bringing people back to the right path. And ultimately, this is the message of Dawat-E-Islami. We move on. From where was his wealth earned? That individual is not going to be able to move from his place until he's answered. Firstly, what activities did he spend his life in? Secondly, in particular, what activities did he spend his youth in? And on to the third one, from where was his wealth earned? Again, the poster for today, you must have received it from the brothers. It had a fancy car on the poster, an Audi R8 or a RS4 or something. We see in areas like Tinsley and certainly in areas of Bradford, we see there's parents living in terraced houses, 70, 80k house. They spent their whole life trying to pay that house off. And yet there's a 23-year-old son who doesn't work, yet he's got a 40, 50k car parked outside. Where has this came from? How does this add up? Surely we should be questioning this. We see this, they've spent all their life working day and night to pay a 70, 80k house off, yet Putra's got a 30 grand car parked outside, he doesn't even work. Where's this wealth being earned from? Where's this money coming from? My dear brothers, we are responsible. If we are seeing this in our families, we have to question. If you are seeing this in your friend circle, then you need to question. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, and it's very important ayat I want to share with you. In Surah Bani Israel, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, In ahsantum ahsantum li anfusikum, wa in asatum falaha. Translation again taken from Kanzul Iman. If you do good, you do good to yourselves. If you do bad, if you do evil, you do evil to yourselves. This theory of karma, this is the ayat of the Quran. What goes around, it comes around. If you do good, good's going to come to you. If you do bad, then take note, my dear brothers, there's no doubt you're going to have to give account for that. Whether it's in this world or whether it's in the hereafter. What you do in society, if you're involved in drug abuse, if you're involved in supplying drugs, if you're involved in these activities, my dear brothers, what goes around, it comes around. And when it comes around, it will come around in a harsh way. Today you think that you're supplying drugs to a youngster, to a 17, 18, 19-year-old. You're shattering the dreams of that child's parents. What they've wished for him, what they've invested in him. By giving him these drugs, you're shattering the dreams of them parents. And when it comes round, don't think that you're going to be able to do this on your streets and you can keep your kids at home in cotton wool. Tomorrow somebody's going to be supplying to them. And when tomorrow somebody's supplying to them and destroying their life, you won't have anywhere to stand. You won't have any excuse. Recently there was a drug dealer in Bradford. His mum passed away. And he couldn't even read Qul Huwallahu Ahad while she was passing away. He had to go and call somebody else to come and recite Surah Yasin. Is that the life? Is that the life that you wish to live? I speak to our youngsters here today. Don't aspire to these people. Don't look up to these people who drive these cars, who wear these fancy clothes. What you need to look at is where is that coming from? That's what's worth looking up to. If somebody's working hard as a doctor or a solicitor or a pharmacist and he's earning money that halal way and then he's driving a fancy car, that's something to be drawn into. That's something to look up to. Not somebody who is earning in a haram way. That's not something that we should aspire to be like. It's not something where we should try and go. Because it starts at this young age where they see these drug dealers driving these fancy cars and they look up to them. They want to be like them. They want to go and hang around with them. And that responsibility comes round to us about who our kids are hanging around with. And we're going to come on to the role of parents shortly, inshallah. We move on to the fourth point that a brother will need to answer, a person will need to answer on the Day of Judgment. Where was his wealth spent? We talked about where it was earned. Where is this haram money coming from if people are indulging in haram? Also, a point to remember is the fourth point. Where is his wealth spent? Where are you spending your money? Just think about it on a local level. Let's not talk about drug dealers. Let's not talk about the society. Everybody sitting in this room, all the elders here, on average, the average person has probably got a £400-500 phone in his pocket. This is the average. Now, the new iPhone X is even going up to £1,000. The average person has got a £400 phone in his pocket. That's a fact. That's not a bad thing. Again, you earn halal money, you can buy a phone. That's not the point here. The point is, when Dawat-E-Islami announces a telethon, and they announce that one unit is £65, how difficult do we find it to contribute? How difficult do we find it to give? Yeah, we've got a phone contract at £30-40 a month. We're paying Sky Sports membership at £40-50 a month. The internet at home, the internet's more important than oxygen these days. Everybody's got a £30 a month membership. Yet why do we struggle so much when it comes to giving to Deen? We're going to have to give account for this, my dear Islam brothers. Where was his wealth spent? Before you can move from your place on the day of judgment, you have to give account. Where did I spend my wealth? And yes, you can say, well, I bought a phone, I worked hard for it, that's fine. But are you giving some portion to sadaqah? Are you giving some portion to help Deen? Are you giving some portion to help the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Spreading his Deen? Spreading the message that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam came? It shouldn't be so difficult for us. Think about this. Think about these things that we're going to have to give account for. Finally, to what extent was knowledge practiced upon? Now, when people hear this, you're going to have to answer, what extent was knowledge acted upon? People think, well, the ulama, they're going to have to give a large account. They've got a lot of knowledge. Don't be mistaken. Yes, everybody will be questioned on their intellect. Yes, everybody will be questioned in accordance to what they know. But let's make it very simple. We all know what's right and we all know what's wrong. And we're going to be questioned for that. We all know what's right and we all know what's wrong. Let me give you some examples. We all know that if we work as a self-employed taxi driver, for example, when we fill in our tax returns at the end of the year, we know how many hours a week we've worked. We know how much we've earned. Yet we're showing the taxman 9k to save tax. It doesn't take an alim to know that what's right and wrong there. This is what we're going to have to answer for. Did you act upon the knowledge that you had? We read the seerah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We see the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was so tolerant. How tolerant are we today? We see the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was so pleasant in his mannerism. How pleasant are we today? This is what we're going to have to give account for. We know it's the sunnah to smile. We know it's the sunnah to greet everyone that you pass. We know it's the sunnah to be good to your neighbours. This is knowledge that we have. There's nothing complex about this. This is the knowledge that we're going to have to give account for. Did you act upon that knowledge that you had? It's very, very important, my dear brothers, that we take something away today. These are very serious points. This is a guaranteed day that's going to come, the day of judgment, the day of resurrection. Every single one of us is going to be questioned for our actions, for what we do in this dunya. And on that last point, acting upon the knowledge that we have, coming back to the theme of today, the youth. Just think when you're out there driving, how many times do you see a youngster barging in front of you, just cutting into you, road rage. How often do we give somebody way with a smile on our face? If somebody cuts in front of us, what's our reaction? This is day-to-day actions. This is hukukul ibad, what we are accountable for. Deen is not just when you come to the masjid. Deen is out there on the street. When you give somebody way, somebody barges in front of you, what's your reaction? Are we effing and blinding? Are we forking him through the window? And he remembers that's a Muslim. That guy's got a big beard. That's the image maybe that he takes away. My dear brothers, ask yourself, in this world, in this country, the indigenous population has not accepted Islam. The British people, they've not accepted Islam. Who are the Muslims in this country? It's all our elders that came from Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, and what did they do? They just had kids. That's us. Yes, there's been some reverts, but the masses have not accepted Islam, have they? Why? Maybe it's our character. Maybe it's the way we are in our day-to-day actions. Maybe it's the way we go about our business. Just a small example of driving. Make the intention that, when we're driving, we're going to try and act upon the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Act upon tolerance. Act upon being pleasant. Make this intention, inshallah. Another ayat of the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Bani Israel, verse number 23, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا إِمَّا يَبْلُغَنَّ عِندَكَ الْكِبَرَ أَحَدُهُمَا أَوْ كِلَاهُمَا فَلَا تَقُل لَّهُمَا أُفٍّ وَلَا تَنْهَرْهُمَا وَقُل لَّهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا. Translation taken from Sayyidi Al-Hazrat's Kanzul Iman. And your Lord has ordained that you do not worship anyone except Him, and treat your parents with kindness. If either of them or both reach old age in your presence, do not say uff. Do not even say uff to them, and do not rebuff them and speak to them with the utmost respect. The Mufassirin, the commentators of the Quran, they say regarding this ayat, the word uff is mentioned. Don't even say uff to them. Serve them physically, serve them financially, serve your parents. These are the people that love you. These are the people that give you unconditional love. The love of a mother and father, your friends can't give you that. Your boys can't give you that. Your boys are there for a reason. Whatever that reason may be, you know, I know. Whoever is around you, they're there for a reason. Your mother and father are not there for any other reason apart from loving you. And the Mufassirin said, don't even say uff to them. What's the reason of mentioning this? You know, that car accident that took place in Bradford, 4 young lads died. Let me tell you more about that. 4 young lads died. You know, one of them, 23 years old, he was a lone child of his mother. And you know, his mother, she was a single parent. She split up with his father. His father didn't bring him up. She brought him up on her own. He was her only child, and he died in that car accident at 5 AM. Imagine what she's going through now. 2-3 months have passed, we forgot about it. We forgot about it, we carried on with our lives. Yes, at the time we went to the janazah and there was a big, you know, there was media attention around it. But what is that woman going through right now? Think about it, 156 today, Sunday in December. What is going through her heart? What is going through her mind? Nobody else can tell you. Only she'll be able to tell you. Can she eat properly? Can she sleep properly? And why do I mention this? Look at the ayat of the Quran. It says, don't even say uff to your parents. Are we serving our parents when we're roaming the streets at 4 AM? Are we serving our parents, the people that are closest to us? Is that giving back to them when we're out? You know, when you're out, my dear brothers, your parents can't sleep. They don't sleep until you walk through that door. Until you come home, they don't have peace. Then they go to sleep. They won't tell you this, but this is reality. Another brother, his mother passed away a few months ago. He's a good brother, he's on the deen. But he just recalls, and it falls in with what I'm saying. He says, you know, my mum, she trusts me. He's a good person. He comes to the ijtimas and he's a personal trainer. And he was just talking about his mum. He says that, you know, she used to be standing there looking out of the window until I came home. And this is why I didn't used to go out with the lads a lot. You know, when the lads wanted to chill, I used to call them round to my house. But when I did used to go out, she used to be waiting until I came home. Whether it was 1, whether it was 2, whether it was 3. Today she's not here. He says, I wish I served her more. I wish I spent more time with her. My dear Islamic brothers, don't live in that regret. You have your parents today, serve them. And trust me, going out till 3, 4, 5 in the morning, driving fast cars, that's not serving your mother and father. That's worrying them. That's causing them harm. This is not what they wish for you. You know, we give so much emphasis to our friends. You know, our friend circle, the reality is, you know, if one of our friends asks us for a favour, if one of our friends asks us for a lift, we drop everything and we ensure that we go there. Isn't this the reality? Is this the truth? We have to save face. Oh, my boy asked me for a favour, I've got to be there. My dear Islamic brothers, have the same mentality towards your mother and father. My mother asked me for something, I've got to be there. You know, we say we take a bullet for our boys. Take a bullet for your mother and father. They're worth it. Be there for them. Serve them. You know, Nigrani Shura, when he came to Sheffield, Haji Imran Attari, the Nigran of Dawat-E-Islami's international cabinet, he came to Medina Masjid, I believe, 4 or 5 years ago. And he shared a waqia about a father and son. I want to relate that to you today, because there's a lot of youngsters here. Nigrani Shura said that there was a man, a young man, he was very successful. He had a business. He was, you know, to give the term of the youngsters, he was doing it. He was smashing it. He had good business, he had family, he had children. You know, you look at his life, he had a good car, good job, good salary, you would say he's doing it. That guy is smashing it. Now, he served his parents to the best of his ability, but his father wanted to teach him a lesson. And this lesson is for all of us. No matter how much we do for them, it's not enough. No matter what we give back to them, it doesn't compare to what they've given to us. His father said to him, I wish to spend time with you today. His son said, of course, Dad. I've got 3-4 businesses. Alhamdulillah, I'm doing well. I'm in a position where I can take time out and serve you. Today you've requested something of me, I'm here for you. So his dad said, yes, I want to eat oranges with you today. I want to eat tangerines with you today. His son said, no problem. Alhamdulillah, Allah's giving me mal. He went to the supermarket. He bought the best oranges he could buy. He wasn't worried about wealth. His father's asked him for something. He wants to serve him. He bought the best oranges he possibly could. Took them to his father. He said, let's eat oranges. His father said, no, I want to eat oranges on top of the mountain. On top of the mountain, there's a beautiful view there. It's a nice day. We'll enjoy some good time there. Son said, no problem. We'll go there. Took 15-20 minutes to climb to the top of that mountain. He peeled the orange for his father. He gave it to his father. He said, Dad, eat the orange and then we'll chat. His father took the orange and he threw it to the bottom of the mountain. Now, his son, he thought this was a bit weird, but maybe that orange was a bit dirty, or maybe he didn't like the look of it, so he got rid of it. So he started to peel another orange. He gave it to his father. His father said, no, I want the same orange that is at the bottom of the mountain. And he made his son go to the bottom of the mountain, 15-20 minutes to come down, 15-20 minutes to come back up. No problem, Father, there you go. I can serve you. Alhamdulillah. Allah, you've taught me a lot. I've got respect. He is the same orange. His father threw it down again. He said, I want the same orange. This happened the second time. This happened the third time. The fourth time his father threw this orange down and said, I want the same one. The son, he flipped. To put it in the terms of the youth, he flipped. He said, Dad, is this a joke? What kind of joke is this? You're wasting my time. I've got 3 businesses to run. I thought I'll take time out with you. I bought what you wanted. You're taking the mick. You're taking the mick. You've thrown this down 3-4 times. I bought it back for you. His dad said to him, Putter, I wanted to teach you something today. We came to the same place as when you were a child. You used to enjoy playing here. And you had this ball that you had. And when you were a child, you would throw this ball to the bottom of the mountain. I used to go to the bottom of the mountain. I used to bring it back up and I used to give you that same ball. You used to throw it again. We were here one day, 10 times you threw the ball to the bottom of the mountain, I brought it back up. The 11th time I was ready to go to the bottom of the mountain again and get that same ball for you, but you were tired. You said, Papa, let's go home. This is the difference between a parent's love and a child's love. Us, when we serve them to an extent as well. The love that they gave us, what they gave to us, the love, the care, the compassion in bringing us up, what they have done for us, we owe back to them, my dear Islam brothers. And you want a message today, this is titled Message to the Youth. My dear brothers, serve your parents. Serve your parents. Come away from this gang culture. Come away from this street life. That the mother and father that you have at home, they're your paradise. They can lead you to paradise. Or they can lead you to the hellfire if you don't serve them in the right way. Everything you have is because of them. There's a similar story. I'll briefly mention it to you. A young lad, a similar scenario. He had a good job and he was in his office and his mum's ringing him. His mum rang him once, he ignored the call. Second time he ignored the call. Third time he flipped, like we said. He flipped, he took the call, he said, Mum, I told you don't ring me, I'm at work, I'm busy. His mum said, Putter, I walked 2 miles in the rain, I'm outside your office, you left your lunch at home. This is the care of a mother and father, and this is our reaction. This is how much they love us. My dear brothers, ask yourselves, how much do we give back to them? Everybody sitting here, if your parents are not here, you've still got a role to play. How many times do you visit the grave? How many times do you read Surah Yasin? If your parents are not here, it doesn't mean game's over. Your duty towards them is same. Do you go to their grave? Do you read Surah Yasin? Do you do khatam for them? And those children that are here who have their parents, when's the last time you did khidmah for your parents? When's the last time you did their malish? When's the last time, we go out to eat with our boys very regularly. Even I myself, I'll be honest with you, I go every couple of weeks, we get together, we have some food. When was the last time you took your favourite food for your mother and father and you said, Mum, Dad, let's have some food today? Very small things, but this is Deen, my dear brothers. This is Islam. Serving your mother and father, spending good moments with them, this is what Deen teaches us. And coming back to the topic, my dear brothers, when them kids are out on the streets at 4 or 5 a.m, there's responsibility for us parents as well. What is your child doing on the street at 4 a.m? What is he doing out there? Have you questioned him? At 4 a.m, who is he with? Who is your child with at 4 a.m? Do you know? You should know. You should be in control. From a young age at 16, 17, that's where it starts. You're giving your child spending money, question him, ask him where is he spending it? Where is that money going? At that age, if you're giving him 5 every week or 5 every day, and you don't see what he's buying, just simple question, what did you buy with it? You bought a drink, you bought some crisps, you bought some chocolates, that's fine. But if you're not seeing where it's going, then I tell you something, brothers, there's a fair chance that it's going on cigarettes. And once cigarettes start, there's a fair chance it goes to drugs. And once drugs starts, it goes to alcohol, it goes to gambling. But you have a responsibility in this. You're giving them something, question them as well. Take accountability. Where are they? What time did they come home? Who are they with? Who are their friends? You are in control of this at the age of 13, 14, 15. You can control this. What responsibility are you playing in this? Just by going to work all night or all day, and when you see them, you're dismissive to them because you want to watch TV. That's contributing towards this. And that money we mentioned earlier, your child, if he's got a 30, 40k car and he doesn't even work, if you don't question him, you're contributing to this. He's driving you around in that same vehicle and you're not questioning this. You are involved in this just as much as he is. You must question what he's up to. You must question who he's hanging around with. This is your responsibility. And for them youngsters, the last point I want to mention before I start concluding is company. Who are you hanging around with? Who are you associating with? Because this is what is contributing towards your thinking, towards your lifestyle, towards how you act, towards how you are to others. Everything is on your company, the people around you. There's a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, it mentions that the parable of a good friend and a bad friend is that of a carrier of musk and a blacksmith. You go into an oud shop, you go into an Attari shop, you might not buy anything, but still he'll put some on you. Even if he doesn't put any on you, you come out, you start smelling of Attari, right? You start smelling of Attari. Same with a blacksmith, somebody who burns metal. If you go to his factory or you go to his place of work, you're going to be filled in coal, you're going to be filled in mess. Take this example, your boys. Who do you chill with? Who do you hang around with? If they're drug dealers, if they're smoking drugs, even if you don't, there's a fair chance you're going to end up that way, because that's how it starts. Nobody smokes drugs at the start. Everybody's influenced. Nobody smokes cigarettes at the start. Everybody is influenced. And the people around you, they're going to influence you. They're going to influence your decisions. They're going to influence the way you think. So you need to think about, if you want to take something away today, I'm going to come on to 2 things what you need to take. But let's talk about this further. Your company, ask yourself, the people around you, do they care about the welfare of my parents? Do my boys care about my parents? If the answer is no, they're not good for you. If you chill every Friday night with your boys, one day tell them, my mom's not well today, I'm going to serve her, I'm going to make her some food, I'm going to give her medicine. What's their reaction? Are they happy that you do that? If they're happy, then they're good friends. If they're not happy, then they're not good for you. Do your boys care about your deen? Do you yourself know how to pray Quran with tajweed? If the answer is yes, that's fantastic. But if the answer is no, do your boys care about this? Are they concerned that you need to learn the Quran in the correct manner? If they're not concerned, they're not good for you. If they are concerned, they're very good for you. Ask yourself these questions. We've pictured this. Those young lads today, one day is going to come when your mother or father passes away. There's no point, not talking about this. This is Iman. What does Iman tell us? That death is going to come. Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut. Every soul shall taste death. So picture that day when your father passes away. Your father passes away. The boys you have around you today, what are they going to do? Them friends you have today, what can they give you at that time of need? Are they from this group that will come to the janazah, they'll be standing on the back row in their jeans and their t-shirts, and they'll come and give you a good hug, they'll come and say to you, bro, if you need anything, we're here for you. They might even help you financially, but that's where, as far as it goes. Now picture those brothers in a good mahol, maybe the muballighs of Dawat-E-Islami. If you're associated with these type of people, what will they do when your father passes away? They won't just come to the janazah. Right from the start, when it comes to doing the ghusl, they'll be there for you. They'll be telling you what to do. When it comes to doing the kafan, they'll be telling you what to recite. They'll be the ones who can potentially bring you some relics of the Prophet ﷺ to put in the grave of your mother or father. They're the ones who can bring you something with some good nisbat which will help your mother or father in the grave. They're the ones who are going to come, and at the grave, they're not just going to go away after the burial. They're going to read Surah Yasin there with you. They're going to read Surah Mulk there with you. They're the ones who will remind you to do khatam. They're the ones who will remind you on the Barsi, let's get some khatam read. Let's all of us read one para each, and let's read a Quran for the Isalih Thawab of our mother and father. Which group are your friends in? And ask yourself, more importantly, think about the day that you die. When you die, will your boys read Surah Yasin for you? Ask yourself, when you pass away, will your boys read Isale Thawab for you? Something to contribute towards Isale Thawab for you. And if the answer is yes, then you're in a good crowd. If the answer is no, then you need to think, my dear brothers. And you know, there's hope. We still have hope. But it's important for us to act. You know, there's another narration where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned 7 people that will be in His shade on the Day of Judgment. There's 7 people who will be in His shade on the Day of Judgment. There's no time to go through all of them. There's a whole bayan can be done on this hadith. But the second type of people that I mentioned is those young people who worship Allah. People who worship Allah in their youth. We have a lot of youngsters here. You know, strive for this. Try to aim for this. Worshipping Allah in your youth. This will bring you success. And I want you to take a couple of things away today. Just remember that, you know, the Sahaba Ikram, the great people that we talk about, the likes of Umar ibn al-Khattab, the likes of Khalid bin Walid, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. You know, they didn't come in, they weren't born in Islam, they weren't born as walis. Some of them grew up worshipping idols, but yet when they found Islam, they made it count. And today, my dear brothers, it's about making it count. We have Islam. We have this religion of peace. Alhamdulillah, we were born Muslims, most of us. Let's make it count. The first thing I want you to take away is a quote from Maulana Rum. He's a wali from the past who's buried in Turkey, in Konya. He says, be like a tree and drop the dead leaves. If you want to take anything away from here today, take this away. Be like a tree and drop the dead leaves. Now, to apply the filter of 2018, or to translate that in a street way, what they're basically saying is drop the wasters. Get rid of the wasters. You need to analyze your friend circle. And you need to think about who your friends are, and you need to drop the wasters. That's what they're saying. What does a tree do? It drops the dead leaves. You need to do the same. Those people around me, I'm passionate, I'm enthusiastic, I want to achieve something. But are my friends aligned with what my aims are, what my vision is, or are they punching in my tyres? If somebody's punching in your tyres, you need to get rid of them. You need to get rid of them. And it's not a case of ringing the guy up saying, I don't want to be your friend anymore. It's about using wisdom. It's about, involving yourself in what's good for you. And just distancing yourself. Distance yourself from those that you don't need. And the last piece of advice is, my dear brothers, often we come to these talks and we hear some good things. What we do is we go away and we make a to-do list. That's very good. That I'm going to start reading. I'm going to start, reading through the park. I'm going to start attending the masjid more often. Maybe after today's talk, the message to the youth, maybe what we need to do after today is make a not to-do list. Let's make a not to-do list. What are we going to stop doing? And everybody can reflect on their own state. Everybody can think about where they are in their lives. Some people may need to, assess their friend circle, analyze their friend circle and drop the wasters, like we said. Some people may be in a good place, but even those people that are in a good place, you can make a not to-do list. Maybe you need to stop swearing. Maybe you need to stop backbiting. Maybe you need to stop slandering. Maybe you need to stop being so bad to your neighbours. And those people who are engrossed in more serious sins, stop being involved in the supply of drugs. Stop roaming the streets at 3-4 a.m. Start making a difference to your community. So these two things, my dear brothers, be like a tree, drop the dead leaves, and make a not to-do list. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive any mistakes first and foremost. May He give us the ability to act upon what we've heard. Ameen bijahi nabil, ameen sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. There's just a few announcements before we finish today. Firstly, a special thanks to the chairman, the committee of this masjid, and the ulama-e-din who are serving here, the imams, for allowing the brothers of Dawat-E-Islami to hold this event. Alhamdulillah, it's great that when we receive such heartfelt support, it allows us to come and hold ijtimas such as this. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless them in all their affairs. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make things easy for them. May Allah make this masjid prosper. May He make Huffaz-e-Quran come out of here and alim-e-dins who will go on and serve our communities. There's a weekly ijtima, and part of changing your society, changing your friend circle, what you need to do is you need to try to look for good friends. We mentioned your friend circle, your company. How are you going to find good friends? Are you going to find good friends in the snooker centre? We probably won't find good friends in the snooker centre. Where we will find them though is in Fazan Medina in Rotherham, just off Alma Road. Every Thursday night there's a gathering like this. Every Thursday night we have a bayan in English, and we try to talk about relevant issues related to the youth. Try to attend that ijtima, take your kids with you. And again, you know, we talked about responsibility. The parents have got to take responsibility. The ijtima is from 8 till 9:30. You know, that time, a common excuse we hear is, well, it's a school night. But my dear brothers, it's a school night on Tuesday and Wednesday when we watch Champions League with our kids as well. That comes on at exactly the same time, 8 till 9:30. If we can watch football with them on Tuesday and Wednesday night, then we can take them to the ijtima on Thursday night. And even if they sacrifice 1 hour sleep, trust me, that sacrifice is going to be beneficial to them. If they can come to an ijtima and learn something, then having 1 hour less sleep in the week is good for them. Friday night they can sleep in anyway. So try to attend that ijtima and attend yourself. Now there's some literature that's going to be for sale at the maktaba at the back, and it's in line with today's talk. There's 4 risale: how to spend your youth, just outside, how to spend your youth, pearls of selfie mania, which is the craze of today, halal sustenance, and method of purifying your clothes. These are 40 pence each. Visit the maktab, you know, buy these. We go to the shops, we spend £2-3 on crisp and chocolates. My dear sons, this is a good investment for you. If somebody, one of your children, you know, picks this up and learns something, it's a good investment for you. So visit the maktaba outside, please. The next announcement is we wish to organise a Madani Kafla from this masjid. Now, a Madani Kafla essentially is a spiritual retreat. We travel on Friday night and we come back on Sunday evening. We go to a masjid, we stay in the masjid, and you know, we try to act upon the sunnahs of the Prophet ﷺ. We eat in the sunnah way, we sleep in the sunnah way, and we learn the basics of our deen. Very basic things. We start from the start. Nobody's put on the spot, nobody's made to feel uncomfortable. It's a relaxed atmosphere, but it's one of intense learning. And it's something very important for us because we go right back to the start. How to do wuzu, what the 4 farz of wuzu are, you know, ghusl, how to purify oneself when you're napak, you know, namaz, what are the 6 farais, what are the 6 preconditions, the 6 preconditions before you can enter salah. There's 7 things which are obligatory or your namaz won't be valid. This is basic knowledge. All of us should be able to share what this is. If we don't know, the great news is we have a Madani Kafla coming up. So if you want to be part of that Madani Kafla, if you have any questions regarding it, visit the brother Wakas, who's going to be at the Madani Kafla Maktab just over here to my right, and speak to him. Any questions you want answering, what the dates are, where it's going to be travelling, and inshallah try to give your name for that. The holiday period is coming up. It's going to be the Christmas holidays. People will have some time. Try to attend, and try to attend with your children. Again, you know, taking responsibility, take your children with you. Food is going to be distributed after Asr Namaz, just outside. And the good news is, alhamdulillah, in fact I'll come back to this, number 7 and number 8, we have, firstly we're going to make dua for all the brothers and sisters that contributed towards this event. You know, there's some akhrajat, there's some expenses that, you know, the brothers incur, you know, organising the food, etc. All those brothers and sisters that contribute towards this, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them barakah in their wealth, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them barakah in their health, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase their sustenance, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them further ability to contribute towards good actions. You know, we do request that you help us where you can, or talks like this, you know, providing langar, we do incur costs, so please continue to support us. Jazakallah khair. Finally, there's a Milad Mahfil after Maghrib in Medina Masjid. Sheikh Sadaqat Ali, a good friend of mine, he's holding that Mahfil at Medina Masjid, so try to attend there if you can as well. That's after Maghrib Salah. The last announcement that I want to come back to is the first event that the brothers are going to be holding in 2019. It's titled, Is This My Year? That's going to be coming soon. The brothers will let you know what the dates are, what the times are, and you know, no doubt when the new year comes, you know, we'll be making good intentions. Often it's about the gym and losing a bit of this, but maybe some of them intentions will be directed towards the deen as well. You know, I want to start educating myself further, I want to start attending better gatherings. So we've got a great opportunity. Haji Khalid Attari, the Nigran of UK, Dawat-E-Islami, the whole of the UK, he's going to be attending and delivering this talk. Is this my year? How can we make a difference? How can we make a change? So please make intention to attend that talk as well. And that concludes today's event. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to act upon what we've heard, and may He once again forgive any mistakes. Ameen. Bijahi Nabi Ameen. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. What time is it? 2:45. 2:45. We're just going to have a short dua, and then the brothers will need to do a fresh wudu. You can do fresh wudu. Asr namaz will be at 2:45. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Anbiya'i wal Mursaleen. Jazallahu anna Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammadan sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ma huwa ahlu. اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد طب القلوب ودوائها وعافية الأبدان وشفائها ونور الأبصار وضيائها وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم وصل عليه. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد في أول كلامنا، اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد في أوسط كلامنا، اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد في آخر كلامنا. اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وأدخلنا الجنة مع الأبرار يا عزيز يا غفار يا رب العالمين. يا الله يا الله يا رحمن يا رحيم يا أرحم الراحمين يا ربنا يا ربنا يا ربنا يا ذا الجلال والإكرام يا ذا الطول والإنعام. Ya Allah, we ask you first and foremost to forgive our sins. Ya Allah, please forgive our sins. Ya Allah, please forgive our shortcomings. Ya Allah, please be with us in all our affairs. Ya Allah, please support us in all our affairs. Ya Allah, we thank you for the many blessings you have given us. Ya Allah, thank you for all the ni'mats. Ya Allah, thank you for all the blessings. And please save us from zawali ni'mat. Please save us from becoming lazy in thanking you for your blessings. Ya Allah, we ask that anything good we have done today, we send this as Isali Thawab to the 4 brothers that died in the car crash in Bradford, to those brothers and sisters who were Muslim in the car accident in Sheffield. Ya Allah, we send this as a sawab to them. Ya Allah, please raise their ranks. Ya Allah, please forgive their sins. Ya Allah, please save our youth from indulging in such acts which cause harm to them. Ya Allah, we have many youngsters here. These youngsters are, some of them are not even baligh, some of them are sinless. Ya Allah, please, for their sake, please forgive our sins. Ya Allah, please give them a good future. Please give them a prosperous future. Ya Allah, please give them the ability to continue to come to events like this. And please give them the ability to become Ashiq Rasul. Ya Allah, please make them devoted followers of your beloved Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ya Allah, please give the brothers Ya Allah, please give them mazid himmat to hold events like this. Please give them further ability to give them istiqamat in holding events like this and calling more youth to the masjid. Ya Allah, please bless them in all their affairs. Ya Allah, if there's been any mistakes today, please forgive them. And please forgive all our sins, forgive our parents, those of us here whose parents have passed away. Ya Allah, we send them any good from this mehfil as Isali Thawab. Ya Allah, please bless them, please raise their ranks. Ya Allah, please enlighten their graves with noor of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ya Allah, those of us here who have parents, Ya Allah, please give us the ability to serve our parents. Ya Allah, please give us the ability to give them their right. Ya Allah, please give them good health, please give them death with iman. When death comes to them, make it easy and make it in the city of Medina. ये क्यों कहूँ ये अता हो वो अता हो वो दे जिससे सारे दिन का भला हो वसल्लल्लाहु ताला अला खैरि खल्किही व नूरि अर्शिही व ज़ीनति फर्शिही व क़ासिम मिन रिज़्क़िही मुहम्मदिन व अस्हाबिही अजमईन बिरहमतिका या
الصلاة والسلام عليك يا رسول الله الصلاة والسلام عليك يا